Good morning, everyone. Welcome to On Deck. I'm our fifth episode. I'm Russ Morgan here with Rob Mosley. As always, Rob, how you doing today?
Uh, Doing better, man. Earlier in the week, I was battling a cold all week. Started feeling better yesterday, so did my dolphin stuff on my channel. Now I'm here talking baseball with you, which I look forward to every Friday as we talk Major League Baseball and the upcoming 2024 season. So lots to talk about.
Yeah, I feel it's right around that time, fall time. Trying not to get sick, so it's stuff's going around. So a lot of
Yeah,
pollen in the air right now.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And good morning, Back It Up Binge podcast, Jeff. Thank you for rolling in
yeah,
here,
always
Mr.
thank you for
Orioles.
coming in. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm getting anxious. We're like 20 days away from opening day here. I mean, what Dodgers start on the 23rd, but I mean, I know. I mean, growing up when I was a kid, you'd always get spring break time. Bam, opening day, first day. I'm like, I'm gonna go out, play a little wiffle ball with the brother in the morning, and then come in and let's just binge some baseball because it's on ESPN all day. So I might have to take that. I might have to take that day off as work. Making a national holiday would be nice for me.
Yeah, no, that works for me too, man. That's always great. Nothing like opening day in Major League Baseball. Spring training's great, but opening day when the start of 162 is just a special feeling, knowing that the grind for the players is about to begin. The ups and downs that you're going to see during the course of the season. So nothing like opening day. And unfortunately for me, my Red Sox don't open until like 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time because they're out in Seattle to start the season. I'm like, really, guys? You're almost hitting my bedtime when you're throwing the first pitch. You know, this old guy likes to go to bed by 10 or 11. So it's all good, man. Hey, Scotty, big fins up to you. Yeah, always going to do until Russell changed his schedule. Yes, I'm going to do baseball
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Friday
yeah.
mornings.
So let's kick it off. We had a little, maybe a little movement. It's this offseason moving really slow, but Matt Chapman signed with the Giants. What it's 20 million for 1 year, 38 for two, 54 for year three, could be 73 in 4 years, but he has that option for 25 to 27.
Yeah, he has an opt out after each year, or most people say
Which
with
is
Boris.
is out of control, but do you think this moves the needle a little bit in the way? I mean, this guy's a four-time Gold Glove. Definitely had some injury history last year. Couldn't really stay healthy, but defensively solid.
Nope.
Uh,
Nope.
when he's healthy, last year had a down year at hitting wise, but it's a good bat. You think? I mean, I'm not going to say maybe win the West because I think the Dodgers have that sewn up, but competing for a wild card.
No. You're 100% right. The Giants, they spent more money than anyone other than the Dodgers. The Dodgers spent the most amount on that offseason, so they went and they spent money now that they got his contract. But like you say, he has an opt out after each year. Or most people think if Boras is his agent, he will opt out after this next year. But he will be a San Francisco Giant at least for the 2024 season. As you mentioned, he's Gold Glove caliber third baseman. He can put up good offensive numbers when he stays healthy. So I mean, he's a good all around player. And by the way, good morning, Scotty and Bobby. Thank you for rolling in here this morning talking baseball.
I mean, I think it's a good, a good deal. You add Chapman, who's solid defensively. You added Solar, who if he's hitting is good, as we all saw, he was a little down there after 2015, but he's got good power numbers. You add Jung Ho Lee from Korea. Your outfield's already strong there. Conforto. You got Michael Yastrzemski, who's always solid in the outfield. I think I think there's still. I mean, I'm gonna ask our listeners and you, Rob,
Yeah.
where do you think Snell ends up? I'm hearing Yankees, Angels, maybe some Giants sprinkled in there.
I know
Where
what he prefers. He prefers to be on the West Coast, but this market doesn't seem to be bearing that out. because I was just reading an article. He prefers to be out. He would have loved to be on the Giants, but the Giants basically are done spending. They have said after that
Okay,
chapter,
I didn't see
is
that.
basically the end of our off-season moves. We are all now in-season focus. So I don't know. Yes, I heard the Yankees did offer him, but I also heard that offers off the table now. So I don't know where he ends up. And
Well, I mean, I've been hearing Yankees. I heard they re-engaged, but the issue with the Yankees is that they're in the luxury tax, and if they sign Snell, they're paying like 110% on that luxury tax because of how much money they're already in. So it's like say you're paying Snell 35 a year. Well, you double that. Is he worth that much money?
right. So
And obviously they said they prefer Cease, but they don't want to get rid of Spencer Jones, who was also the Orioles asked for in that Corbin Burns deal, and they said no. That's obviously why I don't think Soto resigns, because if they're turning down these guys for a guy that is in the minors that won't help the team this year, they're obviously high on him, and he's got a. I personally, for me being a Yankee fan, I'm like, get rid of Giancarlo Stanton, throw Aaron Judge as the DH, because I think that will probably be more suitable for him, because he definitely has some injury history and he's a bigger guy. So we see bigger guys definitely get hurt a little more,
yeah.
more injury prone. So I'd rather see him I throw him at the DH, Dominguez out there, and then have, if Soto resigns, Soto Verdugo. I like Verdugo because guy's good plate discipline. Well, Soto's got good plate discipline too, but good plate
Soto
discipline.
has. I know some fans think Soto has too much plate discipline because they
Good,
say
yeah,
his.
too much a little bit, but obviously with the luxury tax, and this isn't the boss not dealing with George anymore, rest in peace, that he'll spend willy-nilly. How's a little different. So I feel they go that way. I Yeah, I don't think the Yankees signed Snell. I mean, maybe the Angels, which I think that'd be a little kind of shot to the gut for him, because you're not competing with the Angels, especially after what they just kind of lets Otani
Yeah.
walk there.
But to me, Jordan Montgomery, man, I kept on saying I've been teased. I don't even think he will ever sign with the Red Sox. Supposedly, he wants to go back to Texas with the Rangers, but unfortunately, they're not offering him the money he wants. So I don't know where he's going to end up. And he's another Boris client. So just as like a trend here, Boris keeps his guys out. And these guys, even if they start now, man, are they going to be ready for the start of the season? Boris says yes, but I know teams are picky and they want them in their throwing program before they go out there throwing on the major league level. So who knows if they're going to start the season at this point in the rotation, you know?
Yeah,
So
and morning, Steve. Always thank you for joining us. We appreciate you watching. Yeah, I mean, I love Montgomery. I was sad the Yankees traded him, but I know he doesn't. I'd wish they would re-sign him, because it's a nice left hand. I like that nice left-handed pitcher who can eat innings, and he's smart, but he's not. The problem is they tried to change him too much and make him pitch their way, and he didn't like that.
yeah, I don't think he's like a guy that wants to go back to the Yankees. And
He
speaking
doesn't.
of injuries, that the Back It Up Ben's podcast, unfortunately, my Red Sox took a major blow with injuries this week.
Yeah,
And the one big, they haven't hardly signed anyone all year, and the one big name that they signed, and I thought he was a candidate for bounce back player of the year because I think he has good stuff. And the Red Sox went and got a good pitching coach this offseason in Bailey. So I was thinking, okay, he's going to have a bounce back season. Back It Up Ben podcast. He actually tweeted out what I saw. I saw it through him, but it came through Passon, who's once he tweets something is fact. So he tweets out. I'm like, son of a gun. I go, good way to start my morning, Jeff. Because I had just gotten on Twitter, because Jeff's always popping up in my feed. He's a great follow. So I'm like, son of a gun, way to start my day. But
yeah. Giolito, a little right elbow discomfort, so he's down for a little bit. I kind of agree. He's a high upside a guy who could give you good innings. Obviously, didn't have the best year last year, but that's a solid signing.
yeah,
But I mean, we don't. as we both see, don't see the Red Sox kind of playing for the future. And even as we saw last year, the AL East is
Oh, I
stacked.
mean, if the Red Sox were in any other uh, division, they they would have been somewhat competitive, but they're just in the you know the
I mean,
East, and
it's.
they took up the rare position.
I mean,
Again,
I mean, what we didn't have a team under 500 in the AL East last year. I mean, you got the Orioles who are dominating. Uh, you got Blue Jays are always competitive. The Rays always find a way to be competitive. We'll see how they
yeah.
do this year.
The Rays is a team that we always count out, and then the next thing you know,
I mean, it's their. I mean, they do a solid job with with their their cap and their scouting department to find those young guys. I mean, Randy Rosarina obviously was one of them, and
yeah.
he's a star. I mean, so the Rays are always a team you got to worry about, and obviously they changed everything up with baseball with their bullpen and stuff like that. What they did, just 1 2
Oh no,
innings.
having openers, yeah, they
Yeah.
started that opener stuff, and it kind of became, kind of a thing around the league. And yes, Scotty, I saw those signings. So after my show yesterday, but
I mean,
anyway, that's just that's
after you guys signed Johnu Smith too, a little football news. That's a good tight end. You guys always needed. We'll throw that in.
yeah. There you go, there you go. Thank you. I know that you're a Jets fan, so it's hard to say that, but it's all
I mean, he's a good player. We'll throw a little football news in for.
yeah, that's all good. But
We get we
anyway,
get we get more football news now, and it's not even free agency period hasn't even started. Then we can do baseball right now.
no, I know that's why football's the king of the sports as far as how they market their sport and interest. Because you watch a start of free agency in football is going to be like the minute that legal tampering period opens, there's going to be all kinds of deals being announced. In baseball, it's just like it's no longer the hot stove. It's like a snooze fest. I mean, we
I
got
mean,
guys.
baseball, basketball, legal tampering period starts, and it just flies. In baseball, I mean, we didn't have a lot of big name free agents this year.
Yeah, but I
Besides,
mean, still, I mean, Snell's coming off a Cy Young award or anything. You think he'd be a hot ticket? Matt Chapman, Gold Glove winner. Took a long time for these guys. I mean, obviously, Otani was the big ticket name. He went relatively quick. We all knew he was going to end up on the Dodgers. He ended up on the Dodgers, and you know, but then they got the guy from Japan, Yamanada. So they had a big. They basically the big
I
names
mean,
went to.
Japan basically dominated the news. With the guy with the Padres, was it Imaga with the Cubs, Yamamoto, and Otani. You haven't
Yeah,
had
no,
much.
for sure. So those were the big names.
I
Real
mean,
quick, Red Sox news. My Brian Bello, he signed a 6-year extension, basically based on promise of a good. He hasn't had an ace type year, but he has that potential. So they have him locked up for the next 6 years at least, and they have an option
six
on him through the.
option on the 7th for 21 million. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a high. You're obviously banking on his upside, but
yeah,
I mean, we see these deals going down with these young guys signing these deals that I mean, say you pay 75, 80 million and it doesn't work out, you'll kind of eat that. And if it works out, that's a steal if he becomes an ace.
yeah.
So
No, that's what they're gambling on. The Red Sox have had issues trying to keep their young pitchers. They develop bats. They just don't develop pitchers. So, I
I
understand
mean,
why the
yeah,
one
the
that
Red
they
Sox
may have in their
haven't really
system.
developed a prospect pitchers, Clay Buchholz, John Lester. I mean, but this guy, he's not a fastball guy, solid sinker change, you know, always tries to get weak contact, was fourth in the MLB in ground ball rate and double play rate. So I mean that's a solid signing that if it works out, you're getting a guy that might be a front of the line rotation guy for the next 7 years if it works out for only 80 million, where we're seeing
Yeah.
how much these front of the line pitchers are going for nowadays. It could be a hell of a deal.
Yeah. So
I
no,
mean,
yeah, you're right. And Scotty, you're right. A lot of times those long-term contracts don't pay out, but the young stud players, they want those long-term. Like Bryce Harper signed through a long time.
I
Betts,
mean, and
unfortunately,
we
not with
saw
my team, but
Bobby Witt Jr. just signed. What was it 13? I want to say.
yeah. So
So
basically,
I mean, you're just banking on his potential, and that's all baseball is we see an
projection. Yeah.
international period and MLB draft. You're just projecting. You're just kind of hoping that these guys worked out. We got a little. I mean, this might be they got Liam Hendricks who won't be there. The Red Sox signed him. Gary Sanchez signed with the Brewers. I have my opinions on Gary Sanchez being a Yankees fan. Terrible defensive catcher, and had that one big solid first year, and then could barely hit after a while. Zach Wheeler re-upped. Got a little
Oh yeah, that was a
extension.
good deal. That's why I was thinking maybe that would take them out of the Jordan Montgomery, but there's still rumors that they may still want.
42 million dollar extension, highest in MLB history. Uh, so I mean that's a solid one too in the NL East. With Aaron Nola and Wheeler.
No, they
And
have
they
to have
also,
that strong combination. They're in the same division as the Braves, so the
oh
Braves
yeah,
end up winning the division, but they knock out them. But yeah, I did see that, Scotty, that Bryce had talked because he wants to play until he's 40 and just doesn't quite take him until he's 40.
well
So
with these, I mean with these longer, I mean I back it up, binge podcast. I mean with these longer contracts, I mean you're just kind of banking. I mean on the potential with the younger guys, but even like when the Dodgers signed Freeman, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of hoping you get 3 good years out of him, and then you're gonna just anything more is a plus.
yeah, and you're right, Jeff. I'll back it up in his podcast. Pitchers is definitely more risky to do the long. Just ask the Red Sox and with Chris Sale, they gave him the long term contract, and no sooner or later than he just breaks down, and now he's going to probably go have a Cy Young type year with the Braves. That's just my luck. But
Well,
he.
talking about Chris Sale was looking dominant right now. He's
Oh, I know, I
he's
know, I
looking
know.
really good. 9 Ks in 4 2/3 innings. I think that just adds to the rotation, which is already strong. When you
Yes,
when
and
you
of course, the guy we traded him for, he's going to miss the start of the season because he's injured. I tweeted out when I say this is just like my Red Sox have as much luck as my Dolphins lately. It's just like sometimes it's like you can't win. You get Grissom to come in. Hey, a promising young second baseman. Sell was going to be on the last year of his contract, so you're probably not going to re-up him anyway. So hey, okay, we moved him and got something back for him. Okay, I'm okay with it. But then he's like out, and then Sell's kicking butt in spring training, and the pitcher you sign, he gets hurt. So I'm like, oh, it's just that's the Red Sox luck these days.
I mean if you already got Spencer Strider, you got uh, the lefty. Sometimes I forget their names, and I shouldn't because he's from Harvard Westlake in Southern California. Uh, and I mean, you got Charlie Morton who just defines time too. So that's one. That's a solid three. Charlie Morton, you always think he's done, and he always comes back. Uh,
Yeah, no, he is, and
and then
I
they
don't.
got this. They got this. Who's this? AJ Smith Shaver. I want to say he's from Florida. Who's already tearing it up, which is a guy who might get some time this year with the Braves. So it's just like they're dealing. They're another solid scouting department that does a really
No,
good job.
The Braves run a smooth ship. I don't know whoever scouts for them because they got all these young
They
prospects
do
every
it. They
year.
do a good job. Obviously, Acuna is the diamond they found, and he tears it up. But I mean, they always do a hell of a job with the Braves.
No, they
But
do. The Braves are like, are just that team that they're always decent in contention. They may end up not for whatever reason getting beat in the playoffs, kind of like the Dodgers. They're like they're the Dodgers of the East. they have dominant seasons, and then sometimes, they did win a recent World Series though, so not too bad against them. But
And
I
see,
really thought the Braves were the best team in baseball last year throughout the whole year, and they just, the Phillies just beat them in the playoffs. So it is what it is. You played 162, looked like the best team in baseball, and then you just, because I actually saw a Braves game last year, and they just smashed the heck out of the ball the day we were there. I'm like, man, this team is so complete. They got so many people. It's not like you get to a weak spot in their lineup. You're not like, oh, finally we're through the murderer's row. No, that whole team can hit, and we'll see. We will see. But they're definitely way up there when I go over. I'm gonna go over some of the power rankings from ESPN and see if you agree with them or don't agree with them. And
yeah,
but
I'm Scotty. I'm trying to look for some injuries. I think Lou Trevino's down for the year. Jose Trevino's. I want to say he was. I saw something that he was going to be out for the first couple weeks, but then I see him getting some time. We'll see what happens with that, because obviously Austin Wells there is starting to. I never saw him as a more offensive catcher than anything else, which isn't what you want. But not a lot of significant injuries. Obviously, they sent down Spencer Jones, which was bound to happen. Who had a good spring training. He ended up batting what 455, but not a lot of significant injuries. Some bullpen pieces. Soto is looking really good, comfortable at the plate. He's already got 3 home runs in 4 contests.
and you're right, Jeff. The cell probably will break down. I don't want him to, even though he's not a Red Sox, but his history is just the way he pitches or whatever, hair arm normally, because he has a funky motion and the way he throws it and brings it, he normally ends up a little bit banged up.
Well, and he was.
Scotty, I would let Russell again, because you talked on this last week that you think he's a one and done with the
I
Yankees,
think
but
he's. I mean, I see the way that we're handling our prospects with obviously Jason Dominguez, who had a big year last year before he got hurt, and he'll be back. He'll be back hopefully around in July is what they're projecting. And obviously they were in on Cease, they were in on Burns, and they asked for Spencer Jones, and they turned them both down. So that means they're high on Dominguez, high on Spencer Jones, where and they're and like we both talked about a little before, they're already in the luxury tax, and the reason the Yankees don't want to sign Snell is because they're going to be paying so much on luxury tax. If they re-sign Soto, they're going to be in that luxury tax, and it's not George, it's not the boss who just he's like, hey, well, I want to win, which so you do whatever you do to win. But I mean, that's just the way I'm viewing it. I think it's a one and done. I mean, if I'd personally be happy as a diehard Yankees fan is try to get rid of Giancarlo Stanton, throw Aaron Judge as a DH, because I think that'd be more suited for him later in his career, because he obviously signed a big contract,
yeah.
and re-sign Soto. But I just don't view it that way, because
Yeah.
I think that no one's going to want to take that Stanton contract. I any
Yeah, no
Marlins
one
fans
wants
in
that
here,
contract. You took it off the Marlins' hands,
any
and
Marlins fans in here, you guys were mad at Jeter, but he did you a massive favor, because it's a big hanging weight right over you how much money he's making. But
yeah,
I just don't see Soto resigning, and I know the Mets are already saying they're in 2025, already in on Soto for 25, and
yeah,
Steve Cohen has money to spend and will spend it, as obviously we saw last year, and that's probably why he's not spending as much this year.
yeah. Because there'd be a few teams probably in all in
I
Dan
mean, yeah, I
Boris.
mean it's a young left-handed bat, so
Yeah.
with great plate discipline, and
Oh, and you know
Already,
the money. He must want in the 500 millions or
yeah,
whatever.
he wants a lot. I mean, I don't know if the Yankees are going to be willing to give him what he wants. Obviously, he turned down what 415 with the Nationals, and this
I know
was
the
supposed to.
Nationals were going to give him that huge. I know it was over a lot of years and everything, but still, they were going to give him that much money, and he turned it down. So it shows you what his mindset is. He definitely wants to be among the highest ever paid. So we just see. I don't think he would
We,
get to Otani type money, but he's going to be up there next level.
I mean, Otani money's nuts. And speaking of Otani, he's having a solid. Obviously, the real appeal of Otani is he can pitch and hit. He's obviously not doing that this year, but he's already offensively having a solid spring training. 7 in his first 3 games. Hit a home run in his third at bat. So I mean, that Dodgers lineup looks
Oh no, the
stacked.
Dodgers, like I say, the Dodgers are definitely the team to beat.
What a
There's
what a
another Yankees question for you, Russ. I would
yeah.
imagine he's definitely the opening day starter. But
Oh, he's opening day. I'm pretty. We're on the road, so it's looking like well, he pitched the other day. Did he pitch against the Mets? I got shoot. I was watching the game a little bit. Not against the Mets, maybe against the Tigers. I can't remember. The bad one was Rendon made his appearance a couple days ago and did not look good. Gave up was it 4 runs? Yeah, Rendon started against Tampa Bay. 3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. So I mean, and even though you're expecting Cole to have he's going to have a big year. Rendon was the real guy they want to solidify. Obviously and he's not been able to stay healthy, so he's a guy I'm more worried about. I think Cole is just it's a warm up for him, even though even I'm pretty sure he didn't look. He gave up a bomb. So yeah, I mean, he's just a guy who just needs to get into his groove. Even if he doesn't look good in spring training, he'll be fine. He just needs that time to get a little groove and get going. And I don't see a AL Cy Young, but top 5 pitcher easily.
yeah, no, I mean you guys got him, you paid him, and he should be good for you guys without a doubt. So
I mean,
hey,
we got some injury news. Obviously, Giolito's down with elbow discomfort.
yes,
Kyle Bradish and John Means are going to be out to start the year for the Orioles, which is Bradish was a big part of that rotation. Uh, Verlander came 2 weeks late, 2 weeks behind schedule in spring training, so he's going to start on the injured list. Sonny Gray's down with the right hamstring strain, which could prevent him from starting. Being able to get ready by opening day. Well, Marlins news: Braxton Garrett, some left shoulder soreness. He's unlikely. Uh, AJ Ian Happ, not AJ Happ. He's optimistic about about being able to be out there. That's obviously a big piece for that Cubbies team.
yeah, but I know as far as the you mentioned Bradish being injured. I know it's not as bad as they first thought. He should be able to be back, but I know that's got teams thinking linking him to the Orioles. Jordan Montgomery, I did start hearing his name mentioned to the Orioles, but I don't know if they would spend again because they just traded for Burns but they do have new ownership coming, and so maybe they're more spenders than the old Orioles. But
I mean,
I don't know.
Burns is right now just a 1 year rental, and obviously they got a lot of young guys on very cheap deals with Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman on a cheap deal. I mean, yeah, Jackson Holiday is another name who's been swinging it really good to watch. They've already said he's not going to break with the club, but he's obviously already having a solid spring. but they're obviously already moving him to second because they're planning on having Gunnar Henderson be their shortstop.
Yeah, so yeah, no, the Orioles are stacked. I mean, the Orioles are they're going to be a tough team to compete with over. They've done it the right way. They had a lot of sucky years. They've got some young players in there. They hit well. Hit not just hit in baseball. I'm talking about hit the right picks or whatever, and then selected the right guys. And they've done it the right way. They're young, and now they've added the veteran Burns. Gave up some of the prospects for him, but he's a 1-year rental, as you mentioned. But overall, they've done it right. They've built it that way, and they should be competing for years before these guys hit their big year contracts and stuff. So
I mean, I
that's
love.
that's what the Astros did a few years ago. I know Astros a dirty word around here with the whole cheating scandal, but the Astros did it the right way too, as far as building up through the farm system, going with their young guys. And you guys are just like the newer version of the Astros. Not you guys, but the Oriole fans in the room here. Not you, I know, Russ.
I mean,
But
and I don't see Jackson Holiday breaking just because you already got Jordan Westerberg, you got Ramon Urias, you got Jorge Mateo. These are all guys who can move around all around the infield. So I think they'll just kind of break them in, let them keep on getting some more ABs at the lower level, and go from there. But let's go with you got the power rankings. Let's see what you got.
it's not very friendly to my Red Sox. That's my disclaimer. But here we go. I will go just from the top. So no surprise, they have Dodgers as number one. This is as February 5th they came out with this. So this the other day, 3 days ago, they came out with this list. Los Angeles Dodgers. And then 2, Atlanta Braves. Again, no surprise. And lo and behold, Houston Astros, they got at number 3. I won't go through the whole list. I'm going to go through the top 10 and then tell you where my Red Sox. Defending World Series champions they have at number 4. To the happiness of Jeff and Steve, if they're still in the room, the Orioles they got coming in at number 5. Philadelphia Phillies come in at number 6. Your New York Yankees, Russell and Scotty, come in at number 7. Tampa Bay Rays come in at 8. As you notice, almost everyone in the division now in the AL East been mentioned, other than my one team here. But Tampa Bay Rays come in at number 8. Arizona Diamondbacks, defending NL champions, come in at number 9. And then now to close out the AL East, not close them out, but another one in the top 10, the Blue Jays. So the whole AL East is in the top 10 other than one team, and that's my team. So then I would go all the way to my team. They got the Mariners at 11, Cubs at 12, Brewers at 13, Reds at 14, Twins at 15, Padres at 16, and Red Sox at 17. They come in at 17, and they said that the Red Sox finished 19 in their power rankings last year. And so 17, my Boston Red Sox come in just ahead of the 18 ranked Mets. So that's where we start. That's where we say. So my Red Sox are way down that list as far as the LL East, but hey, they're still at 17. So
I mean, I agree with them mostly. I mean, if we're obviously going all on paper. The Dodgers are ridiculous on paper, but it's baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't know what is going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with the injuries. You got to play 162 games, so we don't know what's going to happen, and you stay healthy. Obviously, Kershaw's, as great as he is, has had injury history, and he's older now. Yeah. Walker Buehler's coming off a couple years where he hasn't pitched. So we'll see what that is. Glasnow hasn't really stayed the most healthy his whole career either.
They have a potential for elite, but we don't know. They have the potential for an elite rotation, but yes, I agree with you. is still because but Yamamoto, we don't know. He was great over in Japan, almost unhittable at times over there. But now he's coming to the major, a lot longer
Yeah, I mean
season.
that's solid,
Boards.
but I'd put Braves number one just on knowing what they. I've seen the
I think I'm
team.
with you. That would have been I would have had Braves number one because I've seen, but hey, but it's like tomatoes, tomatoes at that point. They're both really good, but I would have had Braves as my number one probably in the power ranking. So I'm on the same page with you. And I got a good question from Anthony. My most underrated coming into this season, but he's no longer underrated because the Kansas City Royals paid him the big money, and um, Russell already mentioned him this, but so he's really no longer underrated. But I thought Bobby Witt Jr. was he doesn't get a lot of play nationally. Yes, his DNA is good. His dad played back in the majors back in the day, different position, of course, but he was a major leaguer. So I thought he would rank as underrated, but the Royals saw his potential. They signed him to the long term. I mean, I think he's MVP caliber player, Bobby
Yeah,
Witt, to be honest.
I agree with that. Obviously, I mean you're not. He's in Kansas City. It's not the Chiefs. You don't have Mahomes, so it's the Royals, and the Royals have been, back in the day where the Yankees' little brother, where they just pick all the good players. It's not a big market, but I think I think that's a great pick on a underrated young guy uh, to get it done. I think
And
I'm a huge Corbin Burns guy. I'm excited, and I think we're both excited to see Wyatt Langford, see if he breaks with the Rangers. He's
yeah,
obviously
that'd be
having,
interesting. Hey, Florida Gator, Wyatt
yeah.
Langford, out of Ocala, Florida.
I mean
So,
those
but
those those Gators produce some solid players. Another guy that's having a big spring who has been hurt but was a big part of the Gators. AJ Puck's having a big spring already, and that guy's a behemoth. What 6'10" lefty, so he's already having a big spring. I mean, and Kevin O'Sullivan down there in Gainesville does a hell of a job producing players.
no, he does. They got another couple good kids, though, a guy that can hit and pitch right now with them. So he's it's a good program they run down there. They were one game away from being World Series champions on the college level last year. It went to the final third game. They got killed, but they killed LSU in the second game, and then they got killed the third game. The first game, which they lost, that was the one that you needed to win. That game was like down to the wire, and the LSU won. So it was I'm not going to bore people talking college baseball, but I like college baseball. But I know most people here don't, so we stick to Major League Baseball.
I
But
love.
yeah, to me,
I love college baseball. I love it. Obviously, I played college baseball and scouted college baseball, so I love it. Obviously, I was in California, so it's not as big as it is in the South. But I mean, we got UCLA out there
I was going to say
producing.
UCLA and USC and Stanford, they all had some good baseball teams back in the day.
UCLA, SC was historically good, has not been as good of late.
Yeah, no, at least yeah, recently they have.
Historically, USC's been great. Cal State Fullerton was a
Oh yeah,
name,
Cal, I forgot about Style State Ford, and they were good. And like I said, Stanford had a
and
run that they
they're
were pretty.
produced. Long Beach Poly obviously has produced some great shortstops. Obviously, Troy Tulowitzki went there, so it's like it doesn't have the appeal as it
Yeah, I
does
know.
down.
I mean, most because you can definitely because my son goes to UF, so he says getting football tickets, you got to get them early in the week, and you got to get on the little to get your tickets. Baseball, you can just walk up on game day and walk right into the stadium. So and so I'm in college baseball at UF. It's still they get a good crowd every night, but it's not like
I
football
had
was.
a I had a did a mission trip in Puerto Rico. We were teaching baseball, and one of the guys there played was this was 2013 2014 was a center fielder at Louisiana Lafayette, and he was like, we'll get 10,000 people at Louisiana Lafayette on a Wednesday. And
Well,
he's like, go to the Alex Box Stadium at LSU, and you'll get almost there'll be people standing, it'll be
no,
packed.
I know they do. LSU has always had a good baseball program too. So there are your programs that really promote their baseball.
And I mean
teams.
that's Vanderbilt too. Vanderbilt
Yeah,
team's warming up.
Vanderbilt. So I was gonna say NC State gets a pretty good turnout for their baseball team. So there are one, and the Gators get a good turnout. I'm just not saying it's not packed. I've been to several Gator games, and that's part of the student package. Actually, the football you got to pay to go, and then if you're a student, your student fees don't pay for the football at the University of Florida. They just want to more money out of it.
Money. I mean, the football's the
Yeah.
the biggest money maker, but majority of universities don't even make money off of sports
No, I
because
know.
unless you're a big time program.
Yeah, no, it's
But
not. It's more about marketing your university. You know your teams out there, and it's like people say, "Oh man, maybe that'd be fun school to go to." So they try to market it more than anything. But yeah, most of these teams, because even though you hear, "Oh, they're going to get 10 million, whatever, millions to travel," but by the time you pay for all the expenses and everything, you're not even coming out that much ahead. So it's just because it
well,
costs a lot to travel to these teams
Rob,
around.
what would you have the Rangers at? Would you have them at 5? I don't know.
Yeah, let me see. This is ESPN. They had them way up there. Let's see. The Rangers they had at 4. They had the Orioles at 5.
Orioles, if I just don't know about the Rangers. Obviously, Scherzer's gonna be down for a while. The
Yeah.
Grom, see how he comes back. You're losing Jordan Montgomery. Who's your headliner right now? Who's your opening day starter? Nathan Evaldi,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I see a little decrease.
Yeah, but their reasoning is maybe there would be a reunion with Jordan Montgomery after all. Don't bet against it. Scott Boras has sent some clients. He has sent Sager and Marcus Semien over the years to Texas, and definitely helped in moving Montgomery and Max Scherzer there as well via trade. So they're saying that, and don't forget Jacob DeGrom is waiting in the wings as he recovers from Tommy John surgery. Texas is in a good position to contend no matter what happens the rest of the spring. That's their reasoning on their take with the Rangers being at 4. So
Yeah, I mean, I could see it if Degrom comes back. That's obvious front line, one of the best pitchers in MLB. But I could see it. But I don't know if Montgomery gets what he wants and comes back because they're obviously not really biting on him now because he
yeah, I know
definitely.
some weird. See, and Scotty, everything at Florida other than football is included. I think Florida's because I don't know if it's still that way, but years before their kids are a little older than mine. They went to Florida State up in Tallahassee, and their football was included. So I don't know if it still is at FSU, or if they since changed because, like I said, their kids are already working in the workforce and everything already. So they're a few years ahead. So I don't know if FSU has since changed it, but yeah, UF from day one, from where you got to get season tickets to the Gators if you want to go to the Gators. You get it at the student rate, so it's cheaper, but you sit in the student section. But other than that, you still got to pay to get into that stadium for the Gators.
Yeah, but I agree where the Yankees are. I want to see what we're at 7 there. I want to see what Soto does. Judge obviously got hurt as hurt that toe, and he obviously said it could be a problem his whole career. And our pitching's a big question mark on all of that. Because after Cole and losing Michael King in that Soto deal,
But
I think
while
that
you're
was,
still way up there in the top 10, you just happen to come behind the Orioles, who's in the same division as you, and the Rays are right on your tail at 8. Then
yeah, we'll
not
see
too
what.
far behind the Blue Jays at 10. I got the Orioles winning that division, but you guys could easily win it. The Blue Jays, if they get hot, I mean, that whole division is tough. Like I say, my Red Sox, unfortunately, are just probably in last place one more year. I think next year, maybe they will start spending a little bit to get out of the hole. But the thing is, with Red Sox fans, they show up in numbers all the time to Fenway. It's like an event. So, and they still get good TV ratings on the New England. They own the New England Sports Network up that in that
Yeah,
region. So,
that's big having that ownership on that because that's obviously going to be a money maker. But
yeah.
yeah,
So,
I mean, some teams are like the Mets are waiting for that 25, free
yeah.
agents class. So we'll see what that is. But I agree where the Yankees are. Just the kind of a question mark on the pitching staff where Rendon's injury history. We'll see if what Stroman does, Nestor Cortez, and was injured last year. Nasty Nestor. I love him, but we'll see what he does. And that fifth spot's kind of up for grabs between Clark Schmidt, Will Warren, and Clay Beater, Clayton Beater, excuse me. So I mean, I see it. I'm a guy. I want to see him produce on the field, and we'll see
Yeah.
what it does.
Well,
Uh, Blue Jays are always a concern. They got a solid.
they're always very talented. They sometimes underperform, it seems like, but they're always. If you look at their lineup, they're one of the crazier lineups
Solid
in
lineup,
base.
and you got Bichette, and you got Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr.,
I know. I mean, no, you're
George
right. I mean,
Springer.
they no longer have Matt Chapman, but they're a solid team, man. And they got Springer. So, they got some guys that can play ball. We see if they put it all
I mean,
together.
you play ball, and you got Kevin Gosman, who could have another solid year as a good frontline starter. So
Yeah.
I mean, the East is just stacked. But for the most part, with the power rankings, I agree with them. I put the Braves at 1. MLB.com has the Braves at 1. I want to see it obviously on paper.
Yep.
The
And
Dodgers.
then yeah, I did see on MLB. This is the most recent one I saw, so I went with the 5th of
Yeah,
February. They got Oakland Athletics. If you just wanted to know who took up the bottom, they got the Oakland Athletics as number 30, just
well, it makes sense.
behind.
We'll see where they play after this year. If they end up going, they've been throwing, Sacramento. I want to. I saw Manfred bring this up. Where you're talking about expansion? Where do you what trying to maybe expand 2 more teams? He's obviously thrown out a couple cities. Where do you think the next, if once baseball expands, where's your favorite cities to get those
I
expansion to?
think one like in the Tennessee region because there's like a big gap in the country. Like you got one in obviously you got a couple teams in Florida, then you got one in Georgia, but you don't really have like the Carolinas or Tennessee repping. So I would think maybe one like in Tennessee, something like that. A big enough city. They got the Titans, so why not have a baseball team or I don't know something in North Carolina, something in Tennessee. I don't know. One of that region, I think is could use a baseball team.
I
And
know, yeah,
then
I agree with you on that. After the Braves, they're kind of we get in a little dead zone of just minor league teams. So Nashville, I know, is prepping to. They've already started their plans on building a major league stadium down by I think it's the Cumberland River. Trying to build something there. I've been hearing Salt Lake City, which is a little surprising because it's not huge, but I mean, you got the Jazz there, and the Jazz do good ticket wise. So that's another one. I
yeah,
like that. I like Charlotte. That's a big city. I'd love to see Montreal get a baseball
I
team
know
back.
that's what I say. But if they do it, they probably put one in the East and one in the West, maybe, or they just put two teams. One's going to probably be in the National. It's going to be weird because it's going to be odd divisions. It's not going to be like now. Basically, all the teams are like 5 teams in each division. So it's going to mess that up because you
I've
got
been
five,
I've
five,
been
five, and then 5, 5, 5 to make for the
I've
for
been
the
I've been hearing Portland.
yeah
Uh,
Portland. If you haven't watched that do you ever see like the Portland Mavericks? They did they did a show on Netflix about them. It was a minor league team back in the day. So it's kind of funny, but they love their baseball in that area. So who knows? Who knows?
but yeah, I don't. I
But
think Nashville and Salt Lake City are probably the two top.
yeah, that's
But
what
we'll
I have
see.
heard. But yeah, Montreal would be great. I would love one a team back in
Yeah,
Montreal because
get
that's
them
where my
back in
wife's from,
Montreal.
and she used to go to Montreal Expos games back in the
But
day. So
it's definitely I think those are the two front runners. But as we all know, baseball moves a little slow.
yeah, I know. So I don't know if they're ready for it. Because I would put them up in the football range, 32 teams and stuff. So
But I mean, we're gonna wrap it up here. We're counting down here. We got what 20 days till MLB. So till opening day. So I'm jacked. I'm ready
excuse
to
me.
go. I know I'm excited to see what the Yankees do and everybody else does.
I mean, I'm
I'm
still excited
excited.
for my Red Sox just because, hey, they're still my team. You know, even if we might be a losing team, but we're still the lovable Red Sox in my
I
book.
mean, it's that smell. Baseball's right around the corner, ready to go. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. I'm excited to see what young guys can make an impact.
Yep.
So
And real quick, talking about impact, guys. If you want to make an impact, help this new baseball show be found. Throw a fastball. Just don't break your computer or phone, but throw a fastball at that thumbs up. It helps us get discovered, and subscribe to this channel. If you don't, most of you that's already in here already subscribed. I know you do. I see your names all the time, but still, every show, hit that thumbs up. It helps us be found here on the tube known as YouTube. So
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we always want new listeners. All you guys are always tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Always tuning here with me and Rob. For me, this is a. I love baseball, and I think it's just a great time to talk baseball with a buddy and just keep on going back and
no, no,
forth.
man. Baseball is my. I love baseball and football. That's it. Some of the people follow the basketball, the hockey, and all those others. I'm basically a football, baseball guy. So it says I don't know how anyone else can spend more time on all the sports. The Dolphins
I
and the
don't
Red
know, but
Sox are
hey, what I
the Dolphins and Red Sox already drive me enough crazy.
well,
If
I
I was
mean,
driving
you
enough,
drive me nuts. I'm a Jets fan, so they drive me nuts every year. But
no, that's what I was saying. I can't. I
you
mean, I'd really be loony if I started rooting for hockey and basketball on top of everything else.
I love basketball, but yeah, I never got into hockey being from Southern California, so it's
Yeah,
not really a cold weather city.
yeah, no, same here. I grew up down there. Even though the Florida Panthers are among the best teams, I hear about them all the time on the radio down here. So, but it's just not my thing. So, but yeah, Russell, it was another fun week. We basically
Always
got
fun.
another.
Always fun. Thanks, Rob. This is On Deck. Always like, share, subscribe. I'm Russell Morgan. Always here with Rob Mosley, 10
Yeah,
a.m. Eastern every Friday. Thank you. Have a
yeah,
nice day.
yeah. Thank you, guys.